Good morning. Thanks for joining me at Coffee with Kory. Well, another successful trip to Florida is in the books. This one is a little different than most. Jossie and I were there with Pierce and 6 of his very best friends on their spring break. And I'm going to start today with a direct message to Pierce's buddies that I know some of them join us here on the weekends for conversation. And if I haven't let you know enough how much Jossie and I appreciate you, we appreciate you. The bond that you have with our son is invaluable to us as parents, and I know to him as well. And trust me when I tell you that those friendships that last forever and ever are they're amazing. For a guy like me, that my friendships from high school really helped shape my life. I hope they do the same for you. I'm pretty confident that they will. So anyway, we had a great time. From just hanging out at our pool, going down fishing at the end of our dock, going to the malls, the trip to the Gulf. I've got to touch on that. So Jossie and I take all the guys to the beach, and we hang out there for a few hours. There's just a ton of people on the beach. And there's a couple older gals sitting behind us, and they're having a great time. They're singing to people's music and just having a good time. So we get ready to leave the beach, and Pierce was not with us. I think he had gone up to change out of his swimming gear, so he had dry clothes for the journey back to our house. So these gals jump up and they stop Jossie and I and a few of the other Pierce's buddies that are walking up the beach, and they go, "Okay, we've been watching this whole thing unfold with the two of you and these 7 guys. We've got to know how many of them are actually your kids." And Jossie and I are like, "Well, only one of them is our son, and he's not even one of the ones that are standing here. He walked up a little while ago." And the one gal looks at the other and she goes, I told you that first kid was theirs." So apparently, Pierce, you must look like either your mother or I, because those 2 gals had it pegged. So I thought that was a funny story. I had to relay it to you guys. I also got some great pictures. Well, at least they were great to me. On Lido Key, watching the moon set, and then just watching the waves in the dark for a couple hours, and then walking over to the other side of the island and watching the sun come up over Sarasota Bay. That was probably the highlight of the pictures. I was at the beach every morning before the sun came up, and had some other great experiences, but those were definitely the best photographs. And then also got to see our friends Paul and Jody, their son Megan. Been trying to connect with them for the last year or so that they've lived down there, and delivered a few more Coffee with Kory cups, so possibly they'll be making an appearance here in future episodes. So all in all, a very successful trip to Florida. We had an outstanding time. I have to touch on a website that a friend of mine turned me on to this week when we went to lunch. It's a website called hopehasarrived.com. The premise of the website is that there's a young man that had battled cancer and came out on the other side, and then through a journey. I'm not going to go into too much of it, because if you feel compelled to visit the website, you can read and listen to his story, and then the stories of several other people. We've obviously talked about this over the course of the last several months, that my good buddy Clark has battled cancer. I've got a few other friends that are actually going through it right now, and it's such a prevalent thing in the world, and there's so many people that need to be able to have that hope, to be able to drive them through, however that journey looks. And I've read a lot of those stories since my friend told me about this website, and it's compelling and very moving, honestly. So I wanted to make sure I shared that with all of you. Maybe you know somebody that could draw on those resources. And as I read a lot of those stories, it is specifically designed to provide hope and resources for people that are battling cancer. But for me, as I dove into that website, it's a lot more. I mean, because hope is something that is universal. Aside from battling cancer, you can be having any number of different struggles, whether they're health related or whether they're occupational or relationship or whatever they are. And when you can find hope, that's probably one of the best resource that you can really have, is finding that hope that things are going to improve, and that there's people there that can help you to be able to find a better outcome in a better way. So I wanted to share that with everybody. It was probably the most moving part of my week, and so I always try and pass those along to you guys. So thanks again for joining me at Coffee with Kory, and I hope to see you again next week.